Greetings, fellow moviegoers, and welcome to Movie Central, the place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and this is my pet gorilla, George. Welcome back to the retrospective on the DC Animated Movie Universe movies. Today, we get into the first of 4 films in this franchise based on Batman. Yeah, you heard me right. 4. But before we delve into that very interesting story that is the other 3 movies and what they have to offer, we need to take a look at one of the stories that I don't personally like in regards to comics. So let's get into the history of the story this movie is adapting, Batman and Son. First published in 2006, the story follows Batman training a new Robin, one that is his son, Damian. Damian is the biological son of Batman, whose mother is Talia al Ghul, daughter of Ra's al Ghul. Damian is the product of Talia drugging and seducing Batman. Together, Damian and Batman, the new dynamic duo, take on the scum of Gotham in order to keep peace. I will have you know that despite my sloppy attempts of retelling you the plot, I want you guys to know that I never liked this premise. Batman would never allow himself to fall victim to this sort of manipulation. This is a misunderstanding of Batman, who he is and what he stands for. The man created contingency plans to take out the entire Justice League, so he would never fall victim to being drugged like this. So that always pissed me off. Even if it was with Talia al Ghul, it doesn't make any sense because with Catwoman in Hush, he still didn't trust her at the end. But it's one man's opinion at the end of the day, because James Gunn is doing a version of this story for Gods and Monsters, which I am excited about, notably, but I hope to God he does it right, because this is a seriously flawed story that I do not care for. Anyways, rather than take a new 52 Batman story to adapt, like The Court of Owls, although they would do that one later, or A Death of the Family, WB Animation decided to adapt a post-crisis story while keeping the New 52 tone intact. And while some people are satisfied with it, some aren't. What are my thoughts? It's time to find out. This is Son of Batman. After the death of Ra's al Ghul, voiced by Giancarlo Esposito, at the hands of Deathstroke, voiced by Thomas Gibson of CSI fame, Ra's daughter Talia, voiced by Morena Baccarin, brings her son Damian, voiced by Stuart Allen, to Gotham to meet his father, Batman, voiced by Jason O'Mara still, to keep him safe from Deathstroke and the new League of Assassins. However, Damian is brash and inexperienced. Can the Dark Knight tame the inner beast within Damian, or will the heir of the demon take lives against his father's will? It seems like a great template for a father-son story, but since I don't like the original comic, I can't say whether I like this one better or worse. Damian Wayne is the worst Robin to me for many reasons. I feel like I don't need to get into that, because many others have, like the Infusal, for example. But my enjoyment of the plot aside, I was happy to see a movie like this being made and it working out for the better. I don't love it, but at least I gave a crap about the characters and elements of the plot. So, how about I talk about the characters, animation, and action, and see how that goes? Alright, let's get to it. I will say right off the bat, no pun intended, the heart of the movie comes from the relationship between Batman and Robin. Bruce is closed off, and you know the vigilante that we expect to see him as he is, while Damian is brash, conceited, and impulsive. They do work off of one another as Bruce learns to become more of an open father, and Damian learns to become more controlled and become Batman's new partner in the form of a new Robin, whilst not trying to tick off the old Robin. Yeah, Nightwing makes an appearance in this film, and I really like seeing him here. He's lax, overconfident, and just a ton of fun to be around, and that's brilliantly portrayed through the vocal performance of Sean Moore, who did a great job with such an iconic character. That he's one of the 3 voices I hear when I think of Nightwing, next to Loren Lester and Scott Menville, of course. As far as Alfred and Jim Gordon go, they are standard, but they don't add too much to the story as much as I would like them to. Alfred has some fun moments, but he's just sort of there most of the time. And that's all I really have to say about him. Jim has, like, what, 3 scenes? That's kind of sad for a character like him and his iconography. It doesn't bother me too much, but I needed to see more of these two. Anyways, let's move on to the villains. I mean, Killer Croc is a cameo, and his 5 minutes of screen time here are better than the entire time he was on screen in the 2016 Suicide Squad movie, in which he was just not great. But I'll get there soon. The real villain of this movie is Deathstroke, but it should have been Rage. Too bad he was killed off so early because the movie decided to change the rules of the Lazarus Pit for some reason. Rage and Deathstroke as villains would have been such a better movie and showcased Damian coming out of his shell and turning on what he once believed. But nope, they didn't do that. Again, I hope James Gunn does. Deathstroke was a pretty good choice for the villain, though. His physical presence and fighting style make a good match for Damian, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I just wish Raish had a bigger presence. So there's that little complaint out of the way. There's not much else to say afterwards. The animation still resembles a comic book, but it still goes the extra mile with the adult nature, like most of the other films in the franchise. Now, in regards to action and violence, we have quite the step up. Unlike Justice League War, this movie does push the PG-13 rating quite a bit. There's a lot more blood, and Batman even pulls off Killer Croc's tail in one scene. Christ, it was awesome to see. And the action scenes are fun. The opening scene and the final battle were fast-paced and energetic, easily making them my favorite action scenes in the whole movie. And while it has some problems, I ended up enjoying this film in the end. And I think that with a few tweaks, it will make a great live-action movie. So for now, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Because why not? Well, that's it for this review. Feel free to leave your thoughts on the movie in the comment section below, and tune in next week for the next chapter in the DC animated movie universe with Justice League Throne of Atlantis. With that said, my name is Mr. CCS, this is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See you next week.